you should be able to build a book of business that allows you to be able to have a solid residual income. For some, it's going to be 6 figures. For some that build a bigger business, it would be 7 figures. But that's really the purpose of why you do network marketing. You do network marketing so you can have long-term residual income, right? But so many times I've seen companies, for whatever, not for whatever reason, because I do know just from some of the challenges from the past, why some people's incomes completely go away. And a lot of it has to do with the style of compensation plan. A lot of it, I would say at the very top of the list, leadership has a lot to do with it as well, okay? But when we were putting this company together, because I had experienced both sides of the fence from a product standpoint and also from a digital standpoint. And when I say digital, I mean services, all right? In network marketing, most companies either choose one or the other. You either go with a health and wellness, product company, or you're a service-based company and you go digital. Now, here's the thing about digital. Digital allows you to make a whole lot more money than a product-based company. Okay, it really does, right? But it's not as sustainable as a product-based company. So we wanted to have the best of both worlds, where we could have the speed wealth, but also have the long-term wealth created on the back end, okay? So when I go through the compensation plan, so you can understand it, you'll see why we chose to go with the hybrid of a binary comp plan and a unilevel comp plan as well. And we put the residual in the unilevel versus having it in the binary. Does that make sense? All right. So when you talk about the vision of Envision You, it is about giving people an opportunity to envision themselves differently, all right? Envision themselves the way, the ultimate goal is to have people envision themselves the way God actually created them to be, all right? But you have to do that, you're gonna have to be able to touch people spiritually, you're gonna have to touch people physically, all right? And also emotionally as well. So the health products really touch 2 areas. They touch the physical area, but they also touch the emotional area as well. Your ability to taste is a physical sense, right? It's one of the 5 physical senses that we have. But your ability to taste also has an emotional effect on you as well. All right? If you taste 2 packs of cigarettes twice
a day,
a day, that's gonna have an emotional effect on you, right? Same thing with the food that we eat, right? If you're eating, a steak every day for 10 years, it's probably going to have a bad effect on you emotionally and also in your mind as well, obviously your body. So when you look at the names of the product, it's all intentional in the names of the product. So from Empowered to Vision, and now specifically to Alive. Alive is going to be the flagship product moving forward, meaning in that format of a liquid, you're going to have other forms and other flavors of Alive. And when I say other forms, where it will now be specific to what it actually does for your body. All right. So we may have an Alive product that's specific towards detox. We may have an Alive product that's specific towards, your hair and your skin and your nails, right? And then also a probiotic. These are those are the directions which we're doing. And there's a reason why we're doing that is because we want to create a scenario where you can trust that your residual income will be there.
Yes.
Why is Amway, Herbalife, Nu Skin, Mary Kay, right? Why are those companies still thriving today? People can trust their products, right? They work, they are effective, they're innovative. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's the thinking of what it is we have. That's a 10-year, it wasn't 11-year, but we're coming up on a year here. So that's really the 10-year goal, to have solidified a company where people can really trust the brand and they can't live without the product, where it's part of their daily life. Organo has that. Organo Gold's a company that we actually met each other in. They have that. It's a coffee company. I don't know if you guys have heard of Organo Gold, right? Yeah. It's a coffee company. They're still in business today. They just celebrated 15 years in business, right? But what they're missing now is the leadership aspect, because the leaders that actually really built the company, they're really not there anymore. But what they built, a lot of that business is still there, all right? Because I'm technically still there, because I still buy the product. Does that make sense? I don't earn a commission from them. I don't do any meetings for them, anything like that. But if you look straight ahead, I've got my latte right there. So to me, that was like, okay, that's the key. You've got to have a sticky product that people are going to use, whether they're in your business or not. If you have a business where I'm only using your service or I'm only using your product because I'm tied to the opportunity, you don't really have a long-term business in mind. Does that make sense? All right. So when you look at this breakdown of going health and wealth, all right, the demographic of people that really pay attention to their health is probably going to be my generation and then the baby boomers, right? They're going to be more concerned about what they're putting into their body than I think it's Gen Y, because I think I'm X.
Yeah, Gen Zs.
Yeah, Gen Zs, right? They're more focused on wealth. They're more focused on the digital aspect, right? Because that's the world that they actually live in. Everything is digital to them, right? So we wanted to create an atmosphere where we could tap into all different generations of people, where they could feel like they could have a home here, all right? So creating the platform, what we call the DLP, the Digital Learning Platform, and then hosting the different courses from Airbnb to digital marketing to Turo to the metaverse, and then now financial literacy. Creating that was very, very important for us to be able to still tap into the youth, because I'll take yesterday for instance. If we only had this aspect of the company, there's no way I could go to Selma, Alabama, and do a presentation. They would have looked at me like, what? Metaverse? What are you talking about? Turo? What? Yeah. So when Lisa was doing the first part of the presentation, she was talking a lot about the digital learning platform, and I was just sitting there like, these people don't care about that. What they care about is going to be that juice. They're going to care about what the sprays can actually do. And she saw it, because we talked after the presentation, she saw the energy in the room completely shift once we started talking about the health aspect of the company. Does that make sense? But guess what? There are going to be some 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds where this side of the company is going to be more appealing to them. So for us, guess what? We can talk to people that are in our bracket, right? But we can also talk to their kids and say, hey, we've got a business for you there. Get them in with this, but when they actually get started and they get a chance to try some of the products, they're going to be hooked on that side too as well. All right? So this is more, I would say, short term, right, to medium term. This to me is more now and long term. Okay? It's my opinion, right? And I'm based on what I've experienced, right? Because my last company that I built didn't have a health component. It was strictly on the wealth side, right? We did very, very well. But after 3 to 5 years, you had a tremendous amount of fallout. There was nothing holding them, because if they were not making money utilizing the trading platform, there was no need for them to stay in the business. And then what you're selling is education, right?
Yeah.
So what happens after I've learned it? Why do I stay? There's no need for me to stay. I already know how to trade. I already know how to do Airbnb. They didn't have that, but just thinking about what it is that we have, if we just started the company and did not have a health side to it, we would have growth, but that growth would be will be short term. Does that make sense? All right. So that's why we chose to go with health and wealth. Now, we have a 100% focus on health, and we have a 100% focus on wealth as well. And I think that's the way everybody should live, right? I don't think you give your wealth 50% focus. I think you should give it 100% focus. I don't think you should give your health, 60% focus. You should give it 100% focus. All right. So that's the mentality behind why we chose to go with a health and wealth concept. So why is this important? You're gonna have to know your audience. All right. You're gonna have to know your audience to know what side of the business do you think would initially move them into action.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? Your daughter's 21. She may have a friend of hers, right, that would be interested in taking a look at this business. What would I talk to her about the business? It would probably be the wealth side of things, right? Because they want to know about the metaverse, right? They want to know about trading in the foreign exchange market and cryptocurrency and all that good stuff, right? Go ahead.
Thank you.
That's interesting that you would say that. My own daughter's
Thank you.
boyfriend, he is a national leader for Kirby, and
Wow.
he's only 23 years old.
That's awesome.
So I was talking to him about the business, but I hadn't heard you speak on it. So I was selling him on the health and wellness. And now you're telling me.
All right.
Yeah.
What was he giving you the feedback that you would want to see, or was he just kind of like,
He said he would check it out.
you check it out,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So what happens is someone like him, right, when he sees the totality of the presentation, that side of the business is what's probably going to trigger him.
Yeah.
But once he's in the ecosystem, right, and he hears about the testimonies of what's going on with the product, or he just tries it, even if he stops on the digital side, he's not going to stop ordering the products that we have.
I'm sitting here live right now.
Just off the shot.
Just off the shot.
Yeah.
So the leaders group on WhatsApp, I got into a presentation. I forget her name. I think it was the young lady that she's real small, Caucasian.
Is it Sarah?
Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And she led with DLP.
Mm-hmm.
But the way she said it, I was like, oh my goodness. Because I really hadn't heard it as much.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way. And the way she shared it, it made light bulbs go off for me.
Yeah.
Because I know that everybody that heard that, the way she shared it, would be, oh my goodness, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Versus, what I naturally gravitated to was the health side.
Of course.
And so, but when I heard that, I knew it was strong, but I didn't really understand how to apply it or how to share it. And when I heard her share it, I was like, oh my goodness. And then there was another brother that had one like later that evening, I think it was, and I can't remember his name either. But anyway, he was sharp too, of course, because they're all leaders. And he did the same thing. He led with that, and the way he shared it was in a similar vein, in a different way.
Yeah.
But you could tell that he's more our age, so he quickly moved over to health and wealth. But even the way he shared,
You're talking about
the-
Tracy.
Yes.
Tracy Fisher.
Yeah, exactly. It was Tracy Fisher.
Yeah.
It was so good. And so I'm like, man, this side, I get it now. Because the light bulb hadn't gone all the way off for that side for me.
Yeah.
But I knew that the trading platform, the FL2, I was like, that we need to get. But I didn't understand as much how everything else was going to apply long term.
Absolutely.
And so I see it now.
Yeah. And that's exactly why it works. Because some people, what's going to attract them in is going to be the digital learning platform. And then later on, they're like, man, this product is really good. For some people, it's the health and wellness. And then when they see the digital learning platform, they're like, man, that's pretty good too. So now, and when I explain the residual part of the compensation plan, you're going to see how very simple it's going to be for you to have your customers wanting to spend $200 a month easily with our platform. That's the number. The number that we are looking at and saying every customer on average, we want them to spend at least $200 per month. Amazon has a number. They have a number of what they want every customer to spend with them on a monthly basis. Every company has that number, has that target number of what they want every customer on average to be spending with them every single month. So as business owners, you should have that number too, all right? Because now you can gauge it. So well, if I have 10 customers spending $200 a month, this is what I'm earning. If I have 100 customers doing that, if I have 1,000 customers doing that, over the next 3-5 years, you build a book of business where you got 10,000 customers willingly paying $200 a month for the products and services that we have. You don't have to touch the business. You don't have to tell another soul about the business if you don't want to. And when you look at a company like Amway or Herbalife, Nu Skin, very rarely do you run into those distributors. Very rarely are you getting phone calls about those companies now. Because the leaders that built it, they no longer have to tell a single soul. They have built their network, and the company has taken care of that network by providing products and services that they love. It's another company out there, Forever Living. You guys have heard of them before. Their owner just passed away. He was 83 years old. He started the company 45 years ago. They have over 600 products. They're known for aloe vera. All right, all their products have aloe vera in it. All right, and they do about $4 billion a year.
Wow.
Never heard of them, right? Yeah, they're right here in America. Right here in the States of America. Never a marketing company. All right, so you don't run into those distributors, but the ones that built it a long time ago, that network of people utilizing that product, they're still utilizing, still to this day.
Those are the other guys that stays in the other units around here, right?
Probably.
And our daughter, she has a degree in technical management, and when we brought it to her, she's got a whole vision now of this, basically the side, so that you're gonna, in her college roommate, she got her on the call the other night as well. And their whole thing is tech.
Yep.
So they're definitely more interested in the tech
And the
side.
wealth
Yes.
side, yeah.
Is that the young lady that I helped sign up, or was
Tia.
that the realtor Tia?
No, Tia hasn't signed up yet, but the realtor is
The one I helped sign
Yeah.
up. She was more interested in the DLP side too. I was surprised
Yes.
because I was expecting her to want to talk about product.
Right.
Once we got her through the signing up piece, she wanted to talk about the DLP. So I was like, okay, interesting.
What you're looking for, truly, is on the product side, is you're really looking for people that want to use the product versus selling the product.
Okay.
Make sense?
Makes
Good
sense.
question.
I don't want you to sell it, because if I'm using it, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to share
Tell
it.
someone else about it.
I'm going to automatically share what my testimony is, right? And then we create a system where sampling is taking place. I really don't have to sell it. I can just give you a sample. You immediately love the taste of it. And the beautiful thing about the product is that we want an immediate gratification. And that immediate gratification is instantly the taste of the product. Right?
I'm feeling it right now.
Right? And then 30 minutes, an hour later, they do feel like, wait a minute. Because, I mean, the stuff you're putting in there, I mean, you got spirulina out there. It's, if you went to Whole Foods and got all that,
Oh, my goodness.
you're spending a couple $100
That's right.
to get that type of health, and then to mix it, and yeah, that's
In
tough
a
to do.
small paper bag.
Yeah. So that's the vision behind the health and wealth aspect of things. Now, the key thing with the digital learning platform is to allow the company, you don't try to be the expert, right? That's the key. Don't be the expert. Trust that the company has the education that they need in order for them to get the information that they need. All you're doing is sharing what the education is, like what is it that we have available to them. Once they get into it, right? If you look at the Media Hub, there's a lot of information that breaks down actually what's in the actual course as well. Okay?
That was my next question too.
Say that again?
That was my next
To break down, yeah. The Media Hub, that's like the one station,
Yeah.
and we're actually rebuilding it right now. Our director of marketing is actually building a whole new one that's even more better than what we have right now. Okay. All right. So, and also I want to touch on this as well, as far as the vision. I think I mentioned it in Atlanta. All of you, your spirit field, so you know this, that we're three parts, right? Our spirit, right? And then we live in the body, and then we possess the soul. So the vision for the company is to touch the total man, the total person of who it is that you are, right? And it was funny, the pastor yesterday, he said, you know, above all, I wish, right? And what was interesting when he said it, immediately dropped in my spirit. Well, the person who's saying I wish, who's saying that? It's God, which is spirit. I wish that you be in good health. Who's he talking about? He's talking about your body. And then he says, prosper even as your soul prospers, right? So immediately he's talking about all three
Yeah,
things.
body, soul, and spirit.
So
I
on
told
the
him
spiritual
that was
side,
the
it's
thing
going to be
about-
how we interact with each other.
Yeah.
It's going to be how we interact with people that are even outside of the company. How we interact, this is big, how we interact with leaders that leave the company. It's big. That's one of the challenges I've seen with companies, is how they treat leaders when they do leave. Because that's inevitable. If you've been in ministry, you know people are going to leave. You can't have the pastor bad mouth somebody who leaves the church.
Exactly.
Because if I'm still sitting there in the church, I'm going to be like,
Right.
well, they were just your brother last week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why they the devil now?
That's right.
So
From who?
all that is part of the 19 years of seeing what was done right and what could have been done better,
Yeah.
and our focus to do it right here.
Learn what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So any questions on product or on the digital side? Any questions on that?
A little more insight in the demographic part. So, let's say we're targeting people online, age group of 18 to 65. I mean, I know that's really broad. What's your thoughts like for the DLP side, probably young generation? What's that, 18 to what, 35, 40 maybe?
Here's what I would recommend. I don't recommend you. I recommend you share everything.
Okay.
And the way we did it was we start off with the wealth. So we start off with the digital learning platform, and then we go into the health side of the business. So you're gonna let them pick. You don't want to pick for them. Does that make sense? Because you never know. Maybe a 27-year-old that wants to do the health side of the company. But when you share the totality of what it is that we have, you will be able to gauge, okay, where is this person's interest? And once you pick that up, move them in that vein. Don't try to move them in the vein that you want to be in. Notice what it is that they're more attracted to and move them down that path.
Nice. Okay. Gotcha.
So what I'm hearing then is when you're having like a presentation, you want to have someone who's strong in the DLP side versus the wellness, because me personally, I'm not strong in that area, and I shy from it because of that. Now, being a nurse, health and wellness, it comes easy to me.
Right.
You know, and I know that I need it, you need it. But this other part is strange, foreign.
Yeah.
So how do I, if I don't have a partner to speak on that, how do I speak on it?
Well, the wealth side is really the education side.
Okay.
So what you should be strong on is why education is needed.
Okay.
You're a nurse, but you can only become a nurse because you got the what? The education. So you don't have to know every integral detail about Forex,
Okay.
right? But is it important for you to be knowledgeable when it comes to money? Right? That's what you're selling. You're selling financial literacy.
Okay.
Most people are not literate when it comes to money. Most people are not familiar with the foreign exchange market and some of the largest financial markets in the world. This company's put together a platform and has the educators that can teach you about that. So it's not me teaching you. It's even me as the CEO of the company, I'm not the one teaching you about Forex and cryptocurrency. We've hired people and we created systems that actually do that for you.
Well, I guess that goes back to what you say, that basically learn enough to get them to the right area. And you guys already have in place people that can take it and deliver on what they're looking for.
Absolutely. Yep. Right, Billy? They just be walking around.
She's like, do I get
All right, so I want to touch on the compensation plan so you have a better understanding of it. It's a simple comp plan